In a single moment, your life can change. Moments with Marianne is a transformative hour that covers an endless array of topics with the best of the best. Marianne's guests are leaders in their field, ranging from inspirational authors, top industry leaders, business and spiritual entrepreneurs. Each guest is gifted and a true visionary, a recognized leader in their own work. They teach others to develop, refocus, and grow. Marianne will bring the best guest and sometimes a special surprise. Don't miss this. And remember, make every moment count.
Welcome to Moments with Marianne. I'm so excited we're going to be spending this time here today. We've got quite a show lined up. Our first guest is Stephie Larsen. I'm so excited to be introducing you to her. She's a spiritual advisor who helps clients achieve more awareness and manifest their reality. She's here today to talk to us about her new book, Discover Your Master Chakra. So welcome to the show, Stephanie.
Thank you so much.
Oh, it's such a joy to have you here.
Well, I'm so happy we're here today together talking about master chakras and other things.
Well, and so a lot of people, when they're probably thinking to themselves, okay, well, I kind of know about the chakra system, but what's this about this master chakra? What does this mean?
Well, it's a really good question. And it's a unique question because it's not addressed in most metaphysical circles at this point in time. But it's basically like your zodiac signs. So, if you're born in August or September, you might be a Virgo. But if you know what your main or most powerful chakra is, then you really have a really good key into your personality and some of your traits. And most importantly, it can help you get back on track if you get off track.
So what are some ways that people can discover their master chakra? I know you have a quiz on your website, awakenedbystephanie.com, that people can go to kind of get an idea.
Right. And you can also take the quiz in the book, or when you get the book, you can read the very short descriptions of each color, which will only take you about 5 to 10 minutes. Or then you can go ahead and read each chapter on each color, so you can dive really deep. Most people don't have a problem identifying themselves, but if you do have trouble, I also do 30-minute consultations for $30 to make sure that we get it right.
Well, that's good. So why don't you explain what some of the different colors are and what are some of the characteristics?
Sure. So the colors follow the colors of the rainbow, and the first chakra is red. And if your master chakra is red, that means that you use the qualities of the red chakra in both beneficial and probably a few harmful ways. But the beneficial ways in which you use it would be that you like to help other people find their path, and you're really good at finding the path for them and creating the path for them, showing them the way. And that's kind of like what you do, Marianne, because that's your master chakra.
Yeah, I have fun with that one.
Yep. And then if we go up to the orange chakra, if you're all about really making people happy, getting people excited about things that you're excited about, and if you really get happiness from other people being happy, that makes you an orange because you're all about the joy and getting the party started. So one of the reasons why this is so important is because if you don't have one of these people in your life, you can also go and find them once you know what their master chakra is.
Now, is that something that if you can identify by reading your book and go, oh, I think that this is this person's master chakra, so it helps you to be able to relate with them better?
Exactly. In fact, I'm a teacher by trade, and I wrote this book specifically to help people get the information ingrained by every sentence they read so that they can identify a red after they read the chapter. I don't want people to have to go through a 3-day workshop just to figure out who a red is. I used to do that. I used to bring people to my house and teach them this information for 3 days. But after doing that for so many years, I was able to condense it down into a very clear statement that go right to the heart of the matter.
And so with knowing these different chakras, so we've got the orange and the red down. How about the yellow? What's the yellow about?
Good question. Well, the yellows are the readers. I mean, we can all read and we love reading. I'm not a yellow. I love reading too, but Yellows really want to get the information, and they're all about the data because they're trying to find the truth. And we really need those people because they don't take no for an answer when it comes to somebody trying to hide information or manipulate it or cover it up. So they're the people that really get it right. And then if we go up to green, the greens are the healers. So they use all that data that the yellows bring to them, and they balance the world. So they mend and fix the things around them, whether that be cars or computers or people's bodies or their health, etc.
Okay. And then, so we've got the green, and what other colors do we have left?
So we have 3 colors left, and the next one is blue.
Mm-hmm.
Blues are people that want to enlighten other people, and we're always talking. I am a blue, and whenever I talk, I teach. So we give people information, but we also connect it with what they already know, and that's what creates a special relationship, which helps open those people to the light and to windows of more and more that's beyond, more understanding and more wisdom. So moving up the chakra system from there, we have the purples at the third eye, and purples are our natural artists. And a lot of times a purple will be surprised if I call them an artist right at first, but most purples are very creative and they're very emotional, and they use the emotions in their world to create beautiful appearances, whether that be in a painting or if they're a hairdresser with people's hair. And my dad is a purple, and he's a farmer. So what he does is he creates a whole entire scene on the land that he manages, and he sells Christmas trees. Purples are about love and really bringing people love. Mm-hmm. And so there's so many ways to do that. And then finally, at the crown chakra, we have the violet color, and the violets are unique because they can actually help everybody with any of the gifts that I've already talked about. So they have an ability to go to the other chakras and use whatever they need in those chakras to serve someone else, to lift their purpose up to a greater purpose. So they kind of fill in all the blanks and fill in all the gaps and go everywhere and do everything. So they're like the master key, and that's why they're at the top and they have the highest vibration.
So let's say that you meet somebody and they're saying, well, I can identify with all of these descriptions, so I must be a rainbow. What do you say to that?
Well, most of the time, if somebody says something like that, to me, it's because they're a violet, because they really do everything. Mm-hmm. However, there's a couple different categories of people that would say that. There are also people that are really just good at a lot of different things, and many of us are, but some of us really are. You know, Thomas Jefferson is an example of a man who had super high intelligence in all areas. He was an inventor, he had 2 really long-term relationships. He helped found the country. He was a really good leader. So he stood out from the crowd. So if we've got those types of people around us, they are probably not necessarily violet just because he can do everything. Mm-hmm. But that just means we need to work a little harder and dig a little deeper into the descriptions of the colors in order to figure out what the master chakra is, because this is a doorway to understanding, and it isn't meant to close off any of your capabilities. It's just that I want you to know where your main power lies. I don't want you to go without that knowledge. It's not to say that you can't use the other master chakra gifts, because you can. It's just that there's one where you're actually better than most people, and we want to find that so that you can have that edge that you need to get ahead in whatever endeavor you're pursuing.
So with, I know you and I have talked about this before with the master chakra, the light side. There's also the shadow side, or the negative side, or things really for us to watch out for in regards to our personalities. It's just kind of a heads up saying, hey, this might be something that you might want to look at.
Right.
So, what's a good example? Why don't you just choose any of the colors? What's a good example of that shadow or dark side?
Sure. You know what? The first color that comes to mind when you ask that question is yellow. Mm-hmm. So, yellows, when they're in their gifts, they actually are able to take emotions out of their thinking so that they can use their thought process to analyze, understand, and intuit a problem so that they can come up with a solution. And they're looking through all this data to get the truth. So that's positive. However, the negative comes in when once they're finished with that task and they're going about their personal life and they decide that they don't want to be emotional. So they lock themselves in their room and they're doing all this reading and they're pushing their emotions out of the picture. And then pretty soon the people around them are like, hey, what happened to this person? They totally disappeared. And so, the yellow traps would be like a tendency to isolate too much, to get away from their emotions too much, and thereby to kind of withdraw from society and not participate in their relationships. And we do consider that to be a trap. Another yellow trap would be getting scattered and really having all this information around them, but never putting it into a whole or creating a report or coming to a conclusion and always saying, hey, I don't have enough yet. I don't have enough yet. I'm not there yet. I can't get there. So yellows need to be able to complete their search for truth and then move on to another search for truth. Just like the artists need to be able to create a masterpiece and then move on to another masterpiece. Just like a leader needs to be able to lead someone to the light and then go and find another person to lead to the light. So each gift is really unique in the traps that they have. The red trap is not leading and actually not accepting responsibility when something doesn't happen, because reds are supposed to help start the action going and take actions, but get other people to take those actions. And so if they kind of get lost and don't listen to their higher power or kind of cut themselves off from what gives them energy, then they aren't able to lead other people from their own authentic idea of where people should go. Mm-hmm. So that's very different from the yellow trap. And my trap, which is blue, is all about refusing to teach. As you've probably already noticed, each trap is when you don't do your gift and you kind of focus too much on yourself. But it gets more refined than that, because it's very important if you're a blue to understand that one of the main traps is anger, and everybody can get angry. But when a blue gets angry, it's like their Achilles heel even more, because it's all about ignorance and not wanting other people to be ignorant, but instead of using their gift, just kind of creating dramas and getting bent out of shape by things instead of addressing it in a constructive manner.
Well, it's so helpful to have this information. I found your book really easy to read, and it was very informative. I liked being able to go and look at the other master chakras and seeing what made other ones tick. And it kind of was really interesting because I could identify people that I know that fit within that. And so it really gives you like a reference point on how to communicate with them better.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, and I know that you're speaking from the heart, because as a red, you need to know how to lead people, and if there's something that will let you reach someone better, you're going to use it. Everybody uses this information differently. If you're a violet, you really enjoy this information. Violets are some of my biggest fans because they can use the information about each chakra to help that person. Violets are so good at understanding what someone else's needs are before even that person does. And because of that, if a violet can understand how the yellow operates, they're going to be able to help that yellow exponentially better than if they just don't get it.
Yeah, so with so we've got the master chakras, and then in your book you also talk about the 7 soul ray colors. Can you explain what those are and kind of elaborate on those a little bit?
Yeah, basically, the soul ray is the ray of light that we're born on. So we kind of get into the technical background of this information. So the theory goes that when you're born, when you come to the planet, you incarnate on a certain ray. And because of that, you get that color, that energy coming through your being so strongly that it really empowers one of your chakras to become your master chakra. So your master chakra is the end result of you being on a certain soul ray or following a certain path or a certain life purpose. So I've used the words that I've used in my book to describe what this life purpose really is, and then how it's made manifest in the person in terms of their traits that they share with other people on the same soul ray. Soul ray is a word that comes from Tibet. Obviously, it's an English translation, but the Tibetans are the first to have identified the soul rays and they began to formulate a structure for each category of person. And so my teacher, Joseph Crane, and his teacher, Alexander Everett, worked with that information in order to create a more clear understanding of people as, people who manifest those soul rays and how we can identify them and work with them. But it is the Tibetans, and they're an entirely spiritual culture, and I think that they're not given enough credit for how much work they've done spiritually, and this system comes from them, and it's just not very well known yet, but it is very useful.
So let's say I'm a violet, and I incarnate, can I incarnate like on a green soul ray color to come in, or would I only, maybe violet's not a good example, because I know you saying that can tap into every color. But, so if I'm a red, and let's say I incarnate on a blue soul ray color, is that possible, number one? And if so, does that just add another component to what's important to me as an individual in this lifetime?
Well, that's a good question. I think the answer is yes, but it kind of adds another layer of complexity for beginners. Okay. Basically, it's like you're asking me the question, can I have two master chakras? And Stephanie's answer to that question is usually no.
Okay. So but if I'm red, then I incarnate with a red master chakra, then it would be a red soul ray is what I incarnated on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's really what I'm getting at. However, I do want to make the point that you can have other relationships with other soul rays. It's not like, okay, I'm an orange and I'm 100% orange. I mean, yeah, that's your main soul ray, but depending on relationships you have with other soul rays, you may filter them better than the other orange sitting next to you. Yeah. So I'm not going to say that. I mean, this is what makes our human experience so dynamic and complex, and this is just a way to explain it from an energetic perspective.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. And so with the soul ray, again, having that information of our soul ray is for what purpose?
Well, basically you can think of me using the term soul ray as another way to say master chakra. Mm-hmm. If I had written my book, The 7 Soul Rays, no one would find it because nobody's looking for the soul rays, but people are looking for the chakras.
And they can relate to
they're
that.
Saying, hey, let's look and see what your master chakra is, what your main chakra is. But like I said, the soul ray is really the path. Mm-hmm. Of let's say I'm purple. So it's the path of the purple. Well, once you know you're on the purple soul ray, The chakra is just, like I said, your chakra is your chakra. You are way more than your chakra. What you really need to know is what the soul ray consists of and how to get into your gifts and stay out of your traps.
Okay, that makes sense. So I've got to ask you, so what inspired you to write this book?
It was all the people that I met year after year at this conference that I have attended for a long time called the Children of Light Conference. And when I first started attending it about 10 years ago, I was obviously very new to it. But I was surrounded by people who just totally really loved the fact that they were green or blue or purple. And I was like, whoa, what is all this about? This is pretty freaking awesome. And after interacting with those people year after year for a long time, I got enough direct experience with each color to really understand it. And also I've had some help from some of my friends to teach me more about it through that group. So it was really born out of my personal experience with different people who knew about their color, and that's what allowed me to be able to describe it the way that I do. And I love enlightening other people about where they fit in this system, because it really seems to help people understand themselves and accept themselves in a unique way. And I haven't really run across anything else that does the same thing. If I'm a surfer and I go to a conference with other surfers, they can really help me improve myself and my surfing ability. And this is kind of like you going to the conference that I've always gone to and talking with all these people. And you don't understand it right now, maybe, but you're really good at this one craft. Maybe you don't know what it is, but after this book, you will know what it is. And then you'll be like, oh yeah, that is me. And you'll just get a more collected, big picture perspective on who you've always been. And that will help you catapult yourself into the next level that you need to get to. I mean, a lot of us are really looking to level up right now in our video games of our lives. So this is just something that gives you a leg up inside the area that's already your wheelhouse.
So I know you do coaching. So I know you have sessions where people can figure out what their master chakra is, their color is with you, and discover more about that. And of course, they can pick up your book, Discover Your Master Chakra. What other sessions do you offer?
Well, right now I am doing mostly one-on-one coaching, but I also do workshops on the Divine Feminine and the Divine Masculine. Mm-hmm. And those are day-long classes where I really help people connect to the higher spiritual energy of each of the genders and help them reconfigure how they see God. And so one step along the way to getting to that point is to understand your master chakra. I like people to be somewhat familiar with that before they come, but it's not a prerequisite.
Well, I know you're highly educated. You have a master's degree in English and very sought-after spiritual advisor. A lot of people do come to you for one-on-one sessions and connect with you. And I know most people can connect with you on awakenedbystephanie.com. Are you on any social media?
Yes, you can also find me on Facebook, and you can also find me on Twitter. And my Twitter address is @MasterChakra, and my Facebook is Awakened by Stephanie. And that name of my business was actually given to me by one of my Orange friends. And it's kind of become the topic of controversy at some points in time. Like, well, who are you to say that you can wake people up? But it's really not me waking people up. It's the divine coming through me, which I channel, which I hold space for in order to talk to and interact with the other person to help them step into their greatness. And I think that my orange friend just kind of had an idea that that was what people needed to focus on. So, I think the colors are really around us in so many ways, and they're always operating in the people that we know. We just don't necessarily know what they are. But once we know what they are, that can make all the difference.
And I agree with you on that, Stephanie. A lot of times I think people get a little hung up on the labels. a lot of times when awakenings do happen, it's really between us and God or the universe or creator, whatever name we choose to give that. And then we have wonderful people such as yourself that are facilitating these kind of experiences that are just kind of helping us be in that safe place and take it to a new level. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for being on the show today. We so greatly appreciate having you here.
Well, thank you. It was my pleasure.
Thank you. And we're going to pause here for a quick break. You've been listening to Moments with Marianne with Stephie Larsen. You can pick up her book at any major retailer, Discover Your Master Chakra. We're going to, again, pause here, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Internationally recognized and award-winning author Judy Goodman works and teaches outside the box of limited thinking. Working with people from every walk of life, her goal is to empower you to be the best you can be, no matter what the challenge is. Born with the gift of seeing beyond our normal vision, she has an extraordinary gift of working with every challenge. Teaching beyond conventional wisdom, her work is described as life-changing. Visit judygoodman.com. That's judygoodman.com.
There comes a moment when you realize you're somewhere special, when you discover that each beautiful creature that you see has been rescued from a life of absolute horror and brought to this incredibly free place. Here's where their lives were forever changed and where yours will as well. Discover over 500 tigers, bears, and lions at the brand new visitor center at the Wild Animal Sanctuary just outside Denver. For more information, visit wildanimalsanctuary.org. Discover true freedom at the Wild Animal Sanctuary.
I know we are unlimited, not only because I healed myself of chronic disease in only 3 weeks, but because I know what has helped thousands of my clients transform their own lives. My book, A Short Path to Change, 30 Ways to Transform Your Life, offers 30 easy and quick tools you can use to help transform any aspect of your life. Visit and subscribe to my site, JennyMannion.com, JennyMannion.com, for free gifts, including a guided healing meditation and the first chapter of my book. I look forward to offering you easy ways to help you get clear for the new year.
Have you ever had the sense that your thoughts might actually be doing something? Ancient secrets of manifesting have been masterfully revealed in the award-winning book Manifesting 123 by Ken Elliott. For the first time, the author's experiences and stories in this book describe exactly how your thoughts can create anything. You've been doing this all your life, but it's never been fully explained for you until now. Visit manifesting123.com for more information today. Manifesting123.com.
Ben Wexler is a gifted leadership development and strategy consultant for professionals who want to transform their organizations and careers. Through a uniquely personalized set of processes, participants discover their unique knowledge, how to leverage that knowledge and experience, and then put it all together with a global strategy. You're more valuable, your organization is more valuable, and the change is viral. Contact Ben at 630-881-1074. 630-881-1074.
Welcome back to Moments with Marianne. I'm so excited we're going to be spending this next segment with a dear friend of mine. He's here today to talk to us about Manifesting 123. He's also an award-winning artist as well as author. Let's welcome to the show, Ken Elliott.
Hi, Marianne. Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, it's fabulous to have you here. I'm so glad that we're able to spend this time together. I know that you've been speaking all over the country in regards to Manifesting 123, and you have people writing in almost every day in regards to how this is affecting their lives and just all these amazing things that are happening.
That's the fun part, is hearing people get results. This is a very, very results-oriented book. And what you're going to hear from me are some things that you very likely haven't heard before. Very specific instructions on how to do this, and plenty of people talking about manifesting, but up to this point, people haven't known how it actually works. And this is very, very important. I was invited to speak at a place a couple of months ago, and they told me they had asked their audience, how many people have seen The Secret? That was the big manifesting DVD movie book that's been out there, and they did a spectacular job on that. So they asked their audience, and this is the choir on manifesting, this is what they're all about, how many people have seen The Secret? Everybody raised their hands. How many people, there were 45 people in the room, how many people are still doing it? And something like 4 people or less raised their hands. And then 2 weeks ago, in a room with about 250 people, I asked the same question to my group. This is very much the choir. This is a big Unity church, and or of that type. This Mile High Church in Denver, big outfit. And in fact, I asked how many people haven't, seen The Secret. They had about a dozen hands went up. And I asked, now, how many people are still using the things they learned in The Secret or from manifesting books? And there are plenty of them, as I mentioned before. And something like a dozen or less hands went up out of that big room.
Yeah, I was at that event. I remember seeing that and you doing that. I was actually surprised how many people, they'd seen it. They had, because a lot of times, especially when The Secret first came out, so many people got immersed in that. And then to see that very few are still using that. Why do you think that is?
It's really simple. If you knew how it worked, you wouldn't give it up. William Buhlman is a good friend of mine who's the foremost out-of-body author. He has books in, I think, up to 9 languages now. Buhlman, William Buhlman. And he would go to the other side, and sometimes he would see this, and this is what started this whole book. He said, sometimes I go to the other side, I'm out of body, I'm in spirit, the other world, where grandma and grandpa are, that sort of thing. And he said that sometimes he would go to this place, and everything was on his wish list. He could see lined up over there in various stages of formation. And I went, what are you talking about? He said, if I have something on my list that I've had on there for a short time, on the other side in this place, I can see that it looks like a wisp of smoke. I know what it represents because you have a knowing over there, he said. But if he's had it on that list a little longer, these things get more and more solid. They get more and more 3D and take on more color. And if he's had something on the list for a long time, he can see it over there as if it's a fully formed 3-dimensional object, and he knows it's going to come over into the physical world. Your thoughts actually create form. And it looks like a wisp of smoke, and it gets more and more solid as you continue to reinforce that intention, and particularly if you put an emotion behind it like love, gratitude, or fear, worry, and it'll come over. He said, you're watched by it. And I'll never forget what he said. He said, I'd be an idiot not to do this. So once you know how this works, and you just got a very big piece of information, you'd be crazy to give it up. We are like genies. And as we think of something, it begins to form in the unseen field around us immediately. And it takes repetition and emotion, and not very much of either one, to make things possible. And anything is possible.
Well, I know in your book you discussed how, and you talk about this also at the different lectures that you do, that you talk about how you sent Judy different objects using thought and using emotion, and the difference when you were just using thought and didn't include that heart piece with it. Can you explain a little bit how that works, and does gratitude play a part in all this?
Now, Judy Goodman, that you mentioned, is an extraordinarily gifted person, lives in Georgia. Her website is judygoodman.com. And I've known her for a very, very long time now, and for about 15 years, I would send her objects in thought. Somebody told me that she was capable of seeing thought take form. I was in one of those, what are you talking about moments? So right away I started sending her things in thought, and I describe it in the book in full. And every time I sent her something, I would just concentrate on it really hard, which I'm frankly not very good at. But 100% of the time, she got the object that I had sent. Now, I have other friends that are also very gifted. They could see these things too. Most of the time, 90% of the time, I was checking this out with Judy, but I could do this with other friends who are extraordinarily gifted, and they would get these items as well, whatever I would send. And so I was learning empirically in my mind, I had a cause and effect. Now, I was concentrating on it extremely hard to make it happen as best I knew how. There's no roadmap for that. No one had written a book about this part yet. Mm-hmm. And then I learned later, Judy told me way back, but I just ignored the subtle instruction, that if you take a thought and you visualize this thing and then you say, I'm so grateful, it has more power. It's more efficient. So the most efficient thing you could do, it's the number one of manifesting 1, 2, 3, and you don't need number 3, is the number one thing is you imagine you're in your future. And without going a lot of detail because we have a short program here, but imagine you're in your future and you are imagining that you are in your perfect career somewhere. You can imagine this at the end of the day from a couch, or you can be in an office or in your home office or whatever it is. But you imagine in your future you're in this place and all is well and you're well respected and you're happy and fulfilled. And then you say you're so very grateful. And what you've done, your thoughts can make the future. It begins to take this form. You don't need a lot of detail. You certainly don't need to figure out how you got there. You're simply in your future, and it has already occurred. And your thoughts will create that. And if you put that gratitude behind it, it will begin to take form. And now it's a matter of repetition. Once a day is all you need. Go ahead.
Yeah, and this isn't gratitude to get stuff. This is actually gratitude, feeling the gratitude of just life around you and being in that moment and feeling so grateful for already having received that item, but also just gratitude for everything around us, right?
Right. Yeah, and don't trip up on that point. Just the fact you're putting gratitude behind it is love.
Okay.
You don't need a lot of detail, but gratitude really is love. Mm-hmm. And the number 2 of manifesting 1, 2, 3 is fear. And if we have a thought and we worry, we're charging it up with fear. And the best thing that I have been given to do on this is if you have a problem, an issue, let's say you have a lot of stress in your life, we'll just use that one, and you are up in the middle of the night stressing out about something, you can do a few things about this. First of all, you can go into your future, and that stress doesn't exist.
Oh, so I like that one.
Yeah. And people call me, and they wake up without stress.
Do you know, Ken, it's like, how long have we been friends? And I learned something new from you every time we talk. I like that. Put in your future that, there's just no stress. That's so clever. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Actually, it came from a couple of readers. They were going to their future, and they had all these different scenes. We call it the movie. They have all these different scenes in their future movie. They're grateful in every scene. And they woke up one morning, and they called me and said, I don't have the stress I had. I have a very stressful job. It involves a lot of people's money, big money. Mm-hmm. And when I woke up this morning, I realized I'm in another gear. And he said, I know it's permanent.
Oh, you got to love that.
Yeah.
What a great place to be. Yeah.
It was simply a side effect of all these scenes in his future where there wasn't any stress. Well, the future made it anyway. His thoughts made it anyway. So, if it's the middle of the night and you have this ache, a pain in your leg, and you're worried about that, don't lay there in the middle of the night and say, oh, my God, is that cancer? Holy cow, am I going to lose my leg? Oh, my gosh, am I getting gangrene in the dark in the middle of the night? You're going to have to take action on that. Well, you can do whatever you want, but take action on that thought. This is the number 2 of the 1, 2, 3. So you're going to take action on that worry, that fear. Get your phone, get a piece of paper, turn on the light, make a list. 9 o'clock in the morning, you're going to call the doctor. You're going to go up, number 2, you're going to go up to the, doctors hate this, but you'll go up to a respectable place, Mayo Clinic, Scripps Institute, something like that. You'll get some good information on what this symptom is. Number 3, write it down again. You're going to the doctor.
Yeah.
You're going to find out what it is. Chances are medicine has seen this before, and they can take care of it.
So what if it's something, the doctor's a good one, but what if, because a lot of people that I come in contact with, they tell me they're stressed out about money. Mm-hmm. So what if it's something like that, kind of an intangible thing? What can they do as far as getting rid of the worry for that?
Okay. Yeah, that's a tough one. Here it is again. You've been stressing about it all day, for weeks, days. Now it's really getting down the wire. You have a big bill due, rent, mortgage, something. Mm-hmm. It's the middle of the night. You're not sleeping. You're thinking about this failure, this doomsday scenario that you can't get the money. I don't have the money. That is a thought, and your thoughts simply just make things. Gravity pulls things to the ground. It's a natural law. That's all gravity does. And gravity doesn't care what you think about gravity. If you understand it, it just pulls things to the ground. Your thoughts will make anything. Think of all the things that have ever been invented on this planet. It was a thought first, unless it happened by accident or as an act of God. There's a thought first, therefore a puff of smoke. And you get a lot of people on it or a singular idea, it will take form. So if you're up in the middle of the night and you're repeating this thought, that you don't have the money to pay this bill, then your thoughts will happily create that, because that's what they do for you.
Yeah.
And if you load it with an emotion, and what are the two big emotions in the universe, love or fear? Those are the two big engines. So if you load it up with fear, it will make that failure to pay that bill in the most effective, powerful way possible.
Well, and because then we're telling the universe that we can't pay our bill if we're worrying about it.
Well, here's that thing about the universe. A lot of people, when they say the universe, they might mean God or some engine with a function, to take care
of a lot of things. Thoughts.
Yeah. I maintain that it's been demonstrated to me too many times. Your thoughts create things. Mike Dooley says that. I love what Mike Dooley's talking about. It just came out of my head. That's Mike Dooley's phrase. Thank you, Mike. And thoughts will happily create anything that you are repeating, and particularly if you load them up emotionally. That's all they do. So we have to be careful about what this thing is that we're repeating around robbing. Now, I've learned that I get to create a lot of things, and I have. Mm-hmm. I didn't wait for the universe. I did it myself. I'm responsible.
You're probably the best manifester I've ever come across in my life.
Oh, no.
And that's why you're like the living example of, for me personally, you've been like the living example of how manifesting can create these miraculous things in your life based on how you choose to, what you choose to focus on.
Well, every day is a good day.
Yeah.
Not 100% of the time, but at the end of the day, every day is a good day.
I've never even hear you had a bad hair day. I mean, most of the times you're doing 100% good.
I love the story that just came in last week. It was a woman who wanted to go to Hawaii because a friend she hasn't seen in 7 years, very close friend, had moved there. Neither of them had the money to see each other. This woman lived in Europe, another one in the United States. So now that one was in Hawaii, one's in the United States, they still couldn't afford to see each other. The woman's manifesting that her and her daughter will get to go see this woman and her children. And to take it even further, she went down, physically drove down to a travel agent to try to get the best possible way to get there. It was a multi-$1,000 deal.
Trip, yeah.
That she did not have. But she didn't give up. Even though she had some really bad information, she didn't give up. She mentioned it offhand to her mom. Her mom never replied about it, just kind of a shrug. And it didn't look like it was going to happen, but she continued to manifest this every day, that in her future she's there and her children are playing with each other, and she and her friend are having a wonderful time in Hawaii. Christmas Eve, her mother pops up and said, I want you to know I've got a special gift for you. And it was the round trip for her and her daughter to Hawaii. Her mother had gone online and saw some flash sale and got 2 round-trip tickets for $438 or something.
Ooh, that's good. But, so it's, and I know you talk about this all the time, we shouldn't get thrown in the bushes on the how it's going to happen. We just focus on it already happening or have happened.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to figure out, how am I possibly going to get all that money to get to Hawaii? Mm-hmm. No, you just visualize in your future that you are in Hawaii with your daughter and your friend, the whole thing. You don't know how it was going to happen. Let's see, it was going to be, I just looked it up here on the web. By the way, you can go to my website at www.manifesting123.com, and there's over 200 stories there in the story archive. And a new one every Friday.
Yeah, people writing in and how they're using Manifesting 123 and how it's helping their life.
Yeah.
Now, so back to the worry thing you talked about with money, we could go ahead and write it down. We're making it an action item. We're doing it in a way that it really kind of takes it off the plate, so we're not really focused on it, and then allows us to get back in our movie and kind of refocus on what it is we really want. Is that what you suggest?
Well, the number one thing, and it is the number one, in your future, those financial problems don't exist.
Mm-hmm. And so we're doing that in the movie. We're sitting down, we're visualizing our movie for this. Okay.
So go back to square one. We're worried about money. So number one thing, put out some prayers. Mm-hmm. I'm all for that. The next thing you can do is go into your future, get in your movie, go into your future, and your financial problems don't exist. How about this? In your future, your bills and expenses are paid decades in advance and indefinitely forward. Most people aren't chronically behind on paying bills. They have already been paying things for a decade or decades in advance. This is not some fairy tale thing. In your future, you're continuing to do that. All right, now it's the middle of the night and you're worried sick about this upcoming bill. You get out that piece of paper, get the smartphone, turn on the light, and you start making a list of action items. Number one, I'll go in and ask the boss for a raise. Oh, boy. That's not something I like doing. Number two, I'll call some people or contact some people who may owe me money. Okay, there's another one. Number three, I'll see if I can get some gentle loans or legitimate loans from a bank or gentle loans from friends. Number four, call a mentor, somebody that knows me, knows the career I'm in. How can they help me? Better connections. Number five, maybe look for other jobs. Number six, there's that secondary idea we always carry around, or that other little thing. Maybe it's a side business. Maybe it's not a big deal, but maybe it could evolve into something. Another thing you can do, you'll commit to start networking a little more. So there's a lot of things to do. You can't get it all done in one day, but the next morning you start running that list, and you're going to your future. And in your future, this doesn't exist, and you put up those prayers. At the end of the day, you do everything you can, and that's all you can do. Relax. Can you stop worrying about it? No, but you can tell yourself, my gosh, I can't think of anything else to do. If I can, I'll put it on the list, and I'll do it immediately. So pat yourself in the back. You're taking action. You're working this manifesting, this great power you have with your thoughts. And that's all you can do. Get some rest, reset for the next day. And that's when the stories start coming in. Now, a lot of times, people will start to manifest something like that better career. And anything is in the way, and they don't have a job they like. Anything that's in the way of that career will start to disappear. You might get laid off from the present job. You may get fired. You might get a bad review. Something will push you, pull you, or that job will find you. That better job, that better career.
Yeah.
So you're putting things into motion, and the negative things start to fall away. Be aware of that. And it's okay. It's not always bad news.
I think a lot of times when there's that kind of change and transition, it's easy to feel like, oh, this was a really bad thing. But if we step further back, it was like that was the best thing that could have ever happened. Because how often is it that when we're in careers that maybe we have a boss that's disempowering, or the company isn't really a good fit, or whatever the case is, that it's kind of tough to leave those situations sometimes if we're not really fully feeling empowered.
Right.
So when we get laid off, it's really like a blessing in disguise.
Sure. I've also seen this. Someone really didn't like their job. They're not getting along with the people that are there. They're manifesting a perfect career, much better career. And over an evening, they wake up with this, or over a period of a short time, a few days, a week or two, there's this quick or slow epiphany, And this person that's wanting the better career realizes, my God, I'm in the catbird seat here.
Yeah.
I love this job. The problem was me.
Yeah.
You feel really nice, and I was just, what was I thinking? I was just sort of out of sync.
I'm just kind of in my stuff, and people get that way. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes when we get in our own stuff, it's really hard to see what's happening around us, you know?
Mm-hmm. And they wake up better, or they see it's a commercial on television, it's a movie, and it's like, oh my God, that's a personal message to me. All I have to do is shift a little bit, and I think everything will be fine. And when they do, that people meet them for lunch, and they have some laughs, and, oh, you know, we all go through that. Well, they've been doing it for a few years, doing that thing that was a little harsh for them, and suddenly all is well. Is it perfect? Well, it's perfect as can be. And they didn't have to get a new job and relearn, and it was all good. It was internalized in them. It wasn't somebody else's fault.
Yeah.
But they couldn't see it, they couldn't feel it, but it somehow blossomed inside them. That's fantastic to see that happen.
Well, and you know, to have those kind of transformations where we can be, you know, happy where we're at, that's amazing, you know?
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't work out that way. Sometimes the best option for us is to really move on and explore other avenues, you know? But yeah, it's interesting. And do you know what I find out when I've done the manifesting stuff? That stuff will happen, but not in the way that I could even possibly imagine that it would. So, it's like the lady with the trip to Hawaii. You know, she probably had no idea that someone else would be able to facilitate that whole trip just to happen, and that they got this screaming deal on it. You know, it just kind of happens in ways that we wouldn't even expect. So it's good to have that really open mind for that.
Good point. And she'd read the book not to expect, simply to see it in her future and stay with it. She manifested the equivalent, and that's what the travel agent said. It was a $3,000 trip. Now, what does that mean? $3,000 to her was impossible, and that's after tax money. So she'd have to go out and earn $4,000 somehow, so to have $3,000 left, essentially. And it just fell out of the sky. It's the equivalent of money. Don't hinge things on money. Don't hinge things on your partner has to be so high, certain hair color, certain eye color. No, in your future, you're with that perfect, that ideal person. You know, the one that's perfect for you, perfect for them in your own way.
And we're not necessarily, because people get hung up on that sometimes, I think. When we talk about perfect partner, this person doesn't need to be like the runway model or, you know, male or female 10. This is the person that's perfect for my spirit and my soul, that fits, you know, within, you know, what it is that I'm here to accomplish.
That would be one definition of perfect. You know, perfect is perfect. You know, if somebody brings you that perfect, whatever it is, you'll go, oh my God, that's perfect. Oh, you're sure it doesn't? Is that a 9 or a 10? Or they just say it's perfect. This is good. I had a boss. He said, perfect is good. I like perfect. Do perfect work.
Perfect is good.
Yes. It's so simple. We can make it complicated.
It's kind of like beauty in the eye of the beholder, you know, so it doesn't, because I think a lot of times that people think, well, I'm waiting for that perfect 10 person, and it's maybe all based on looks, then they're going to be waiting for a really long time, you know?
Well, yeah, that can happen. Well, you manifest anything. But if your priority is a perfect 10, you better have covered all the other assets of that fella, you know?
Well, and like our friend Judy Goodman says, I mean, you can only bring to you that which you are. So, you know, if you have to be a 10 in some capacity as well in your own lifestyle in order to bring that to you. So anyway.
And I'm an example of that. I read a radio review, had very good reviews from this radio show. And somebody said, well, he's not a very good example. He's been single for years. And I thought, well, you know what I didn't point out on the program? Yes, I've been single for a long time. I have learned a lot along the way. And I'm not quite the same person that I was years and years ago. I would say I'm a little more polished up. And so I'm a little better fit for that I seek, as you say. So along the way, it's been good for me because I realize that I'm in play here. I am manifesting that relationship, and I'm meeting wonderful, wonderful people. And for whatever the reason between us, it's not quite that match, but we all agree that we're learning along the way, and it's been marvelous for all this on-the-job training that I'm getting. And so I'm still manifesting that perfect partner, perfect, in that way.
All that perfect. Yeah. Well, it can. Gosh, we could talk about this forever. I mean, it's a topic that's so great and allows us to really dive into it every time we talk about manifesting. I learn something new every time. We're at the end of our time here today, but I want to thank you for being with us here today.
You're very welcome. Very welcome. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. If you're looking to learn more about Ken Elliott, you can visit his manifesting page, his website at manifesting123.com. You can also visit his art website that has all of his beautiful art. Many of it's hanging in my home. I highly suggest you pick up a couple pieces yourself at kenelliott.com. I'd like to thank everyone for taking the time to tune in today. And remember, make every moment count.
Join us next time for Moments with Marianne, when host Marianne Pestana brings another inspirational gifted leader to help us grow. Tune in every second Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for Moments with Marianne, when the Dream Vision 7 radio network is at 1510 a.m. Boston. Or catch Moments with Marianne every Thursday and Friday at 5 p.m. and 5 a.m. Eastern Time by going to dreamvision7radio.com. To learn how Marianne started her business from the ground up, visit mariannepestana.com. Don't miss this, and remember, make every moment count.